Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Quantum Self Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about how to unlock your dream reality, and we'll have a guided meditation in the middle as well. What if I told you that the reality you desire already exists and that you can shift into it right now? This isn't just wishful thinking, it's quantum physics in action. So stay with us because by the end of this podcast, you'll be able to experience it for yourself. I'm Sean Tagdeep. These are my co-podcast hosts, Tej Rancher and Aqua Wolf.
Howdy.
What's up, guys? How you doing today?
Great. Well, doing well. Can't wait for the shift.
Feeling amazing. Let's surf the quantum waves.
All right. So let's take this ship off. We're gonna sail through the quantum realm. I don't know who's driving the ship. I guess we're all on board. So,
Oh yeah.
got the AI captain in charge, freeing up our time and space to be able to enjoy our lives. So, and what do we want to do? We want to talk to the people about quantum jumping into your dream reality. So, who wants to start today? Anyone have any insightful introductions?
I'll go ahead and start adding to your deep insights of quantum jumping and transferring into a reality more desirable. The physics are already there. I know this sounds science fiction-y, but the physics is already there. And even you don't really have to even understand quantum physics and like a master state. You can just pretty much like understand the basis of it and it'll show you. I will refer to a simple experiment. If anyone has no knowledge or understanding of quantum mechanics in general, just go do some researching on the double slit laser experiment. And it will start to give you an idea of what's going on. And then I just too kind of want to take this time to, even though we're talking about how you do jump, you can, once you have built some practice with this skill, it's much easier to jump whole realities. But for the sake of this video, we'll probably be, at least with the guided meditation that I'll be doing, we would probably be starting small so that we can guarantee that you can see some sort of result. It's much easier to start small and then go big. Yeah, we just want to make sure that everybody feels like it's something, even at the start of the video, they might not even know what we're talking about, but by the end of the video, they have a good idea of what we were talking about and some sort of practical application at which they can practice it. Because if you've never done it before, you can't like sit down and expect to do it first try. Everything is some people get bigger jumps than others, but first we have to be reasonable with ourselves and set ourselves up for success. And the easiest way that we do that is small bite-sized chunks with consistency. I will go ahead and popcorn over to my boy Aqua, see if he wants to add anything on that.
Thank you, Tej. So, real quick, just so I can understand everything that you were saying, is that this field is not just woo-woo science, right? Like this is has been researched a lot. We have the double slit experiment, and correct me if I'm wrong. It's basically they were observing that matter in an unobserved state is a wave with infinite potentials, and then when you observe it, then it collapses into your perception. Is that correct?
Correct.
So, and then another thing that you brought to our attention is that we want to start small, right? And then we want to build confidence the same way that a child starts crawling and then walking and then running and then sprinting and then flying, potentially, right? So yeah, that is something that in my life I've experienced as well. When I was 15, I got introduced to The Secret, and it was my mother. Shout out to my moms. she gave me the book and then also the documentary with like Bob Proctor and like a bunch of people talking about it. And like the first thing they say is like, yo, try to manifest something really small. And I did. I think it was like maybe $1 or like maybe, you know, going to the bus or something like that. And then you start realizing that, wait, I like first you have this moment of like, did I actually just do that? Like, did that thing just happen? Like, and then you kind of like doubt yourself, you're questioning it, you don't believe it. But then you start building confidence. You're like, wait, I actually did do that. And then as you go on your journey, I've seen in my life that I would say the bigger the manifestation, the more time it takes to download into your reality. You know, it's like a big file. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have a little PDF, you could download it real quick. But if you're trying to download a movie or a game, right? We're talking about 50 gigabytes, right? It takes time, right? So there is a latency to quantum jumping as well, depending on your expertise and also, you know, the size of it, whatever that's quantifiable. So yeah,
and the science of it.
Mm-hmm.
So just to add on to what you're saying, like if you manifested this whole big thing at once, like instead of the dollar, if you manifested $100,000, well, first off, it would be harder to believe that you did it because it's so. It'd be easier for your mind to just come up with a whole bunch of random external justifications or excuses that that's how it got there, versus the dollar, which you could start to internalize, like, yeah, you know what, maybe I did do that. And then also, with the bigger the manifestation, the more feeling and energy you have to be able to generate internally so that you can actually be there, so that you can feel it, so that you can, because you have to live it. You have to live it in your mind with all your senses, and preferably from your heart. Because if we manifest from our head, since our head is a polarized unit, our manifestations can come with polarities. So it might look good at the beginning, but there's going to be some bit to the end that keeps it balanced. So like, and again, this is just a general example. You manifested a bunch of money, but now one of your family members passed away and it was inheritance. So we really want to be careful, but that's all avoided if we learn how to manifest from our heart, because our heart's not polarized. So another reason it helps to start small and until your energy builds and your faith builds and your trust builds. And then even after all that, when you get it, like Aqua Wolf is saying, there's like a downloading that, like, especially your first few, you got to process that you just did this, so that you can then take that process, you can feed it back into your system, you can use it as inspiration to then feed the next one and have it be a little bigger.
Amazing. So one thing that you mentioned that I want to bring emphasis to is that focusing on your heart, right? Like that's important. And then the key is that it's non-dual, right? Because this could be very dual, right? Where we're constantly discriminating, right? Where we're judging, we're labeling, right? We're objectifying things, measuring, like that's here. But in the heart, there's only feeling, right? And one thing I've learned in just manifestations and quantum jumping, quantum leaping, is that you need to embody the feeling. Like it needs to be so visceral, like whatever it is, like for example, let's say, you know, this is a very common thing because like a lot of people want this, but like let's say you want to win the lottery, right? To win the lottery, like you would have to feel it like inside of like you're going insane in your house, right? Like what does that feel like, you know? Like you're calling people or you're not calling people, hopefully not, right? Like it gets a little tricky, but you want to feel it. You want to feel all those emotions, right? Like everything. And then let's say you want a car or you want your significant other, right? Like a partner. You have to feel that, right? And even to the point where like sometimes I cry because I'm like, oh my God, I just feel it like it's done. We won already. And then once you do that and then you release it, then it becomes much easier to attune yourself to the frequency, right? And another thing I just thought about is that when you wake up, And when you're right about to go to sleep, that is the perfect time to slip into, like basically you want to slip in the feeling into your subconscious mind. And those two moments, like right before you go to sleep and the waking, are very important. So how about you, Chand? Do you have anything to add to combo?
Yeah, you guys covered a lot of ground really quick there. So, I'm just gonna go back to the start here when we talked about the physics. I want to make sure we can really ground in the audience some sense of what we're talking about here. So, Tej mentions the double slit experiment, and that, you know, when you don't observe reality, it's a wave, means, and then when you observe it, that wave turns into a particle, right? So, what does that even mean, right? All around you at all times, there is infinite potential for any possibility, right? So when you observe reality, what you're implying is that you and your reality are one. That you, as an observer, as a person, have an effect on your reality. So what does that effect actually come from? Um, and all right, so think of it like this: the attention that you place is going to be determined by your attitude, your beliefs, how you perceive the world, maybe your fears, traumas, unresolved dramas, your feelings. So if you see the world as a bad place, the world is going to show you a bad place.
Yeah.
The world is going to be a mirror of you. So what we're getting at here is that if you want to quantum jump and you want to shift reality and you want to live a different life and a different experience, you need to transform yourself fundamentally to see the world in a different way, to feel the world in a different way. You're not, if you're living in poverty and you haven't worked out these fears and traumas around money, you're not going to be able to jump into being a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to work these things out so that you can embody the reality of being a millionaire. And then when it comes down to it, yeah, honestly, we're talking about shifting to your dream reality. In reality, we are shifting every moment. Like there's infinite realities happening all the time. Every moment we're shifting and shaping. Like Tej has mentioned in other podcasts, you might make one decision that turns right, but there's another reality where you turn left. You just chose to turn right, so that's the reality you follow now. That's happening every moment. So every decision, you're hopping into a new reality. So the reality is responding to you, your mindset, your energy, your beliefs. If you're always saying, I'm having a bad day, you're telling the world to bring you a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
If you start doing some work inside and you just wake up in the morning and go, today is going to be a beautiful day. First thing when you wake up and you repeat it every day and you're repeating it through the day, guess what? You're going to start seeing beauty in your day, right? So these are the little steps we're talking about here that are going to set us up for success, right? And it's like Aqua was saying, the secret, this is a law of attraction. And that sounds woo-woo, and a lot of people think that's false, but objectively, the reality you bring to the world, what's inside of you, what's within, is without.
Mm-hmm.
So you do attract what you intend, and you attract what you feel. And sometimes, you got to do some energy work. We all have like trapped emotions and feelings from unresolved things in our bodies. And those can impact the way we see the world, the way the world sees us. So it does take time. It takes small steps. And yeah, so like Aqua Wolf, we were saying, we can't just go, I'm be a millionaire tomorrow or whatever. But when you start with like, I'm going to find $1 on the ground tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And you really believe and feel you're going to find that $1 bill, and you find it, and then you're believing it and you feel good. Now you're actually also transforming inside.
Yeah.
So if you do have some weird things that, you're not a millionaire yet, obviously. If you're not, then there's something in you that's stopping you from being that, or you would be it already, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now you just found that dollar. You believed, I can make it happen. Absolutely. You're starting to build faith and trust in what? In the universe. Whether you call it physics or God. think we are starting to realize here, it's all the same.
Yes, it
You
is.
know, and what is non-dual? Non-dual is just realizing you and your reality are one. There's not a separation. This isn't like some religious systems where it's like, I'm not worthy of God. This is the thing that flows through all of us, you know? And it look, and all you can do is try. Do the experiment yourself and try it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So this will justify through the experience, starting small especially. It'll take away your excuses about life. It'll take away these justifications you have to stay in the world you're at instead of stepping into your dream reality. So you start small, then you start setting some bigger goals, feel more comfortable. Wow, these things are happening. But wait, now your goals are starting to involve other people. Yes, so now they're going to start taking time. Like the bigger the goal, now you're involving other people.
Mm-hmm.
These people's lives have to change too. Like, it's like how the three of us came together. We all had visions for things in our lives, and they just happened to link up. And therefore, we unfolded and met each other.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But it wasn't like, it was like, oh man, I just need two friends to start a podcast with, and be on this journey with. That's what's come from it. And from us working together to heal our energies together as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Those are the notes I had. Hopefully I was listening well enough and covered most of the points you guys brought up. But I just wanted to kind of put it all in order and kind of
You did great, Chand.
touch on what you guys were talking about. So
Amazing.
You
Amazing.
did good. So I do want to take this opportunity to, again, just kind of wrap into home with what Chand was saying and what Aqua said earlier, because we did kind of blast right out of the gate there. So lots of us have heard of The Secret. Lots of us have heard of manifestation. So simply put, this is the same thing, okay? We're talking about the same process here, just different words. Now, I can elaborate or break down that a little further. When you manifest, most people these days, they manifest with their mind, okay? Quantum jumping, you're doing with your heart because you have to feel it. You can't just think it, sense it. Like, you can, but again, like we were talking about, it will be polarized. Like Chand was saying, if you've never experienced a thing, and then you're trying to think about that thing without working it out of yourself or experiencing it within yourself some way, it's going to be hard for that pure manifestation to come through, especially with your head. But another way of simply putting this is magnetism. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to embody a frequency within our body that matches the frequency in which we want to attract to us, or in which we want to attract to, bring into our life, jump to. However, these help you, or whichever words help you better understand it. This is one of my favorite parts about this topic, is because it allows one to really be creative, okay? So again, like Chand was saying, if you're living in poverty and you want to experience a reality where you're full of prosperity and abundance, you might have to, or not you might, you're probably, best advice is to start small and then imagine what it would feel like in a small version. So imagine what it would feel like to be prosperous with this one thing. And then when that works out, you can do this other thing or a bigger thing. But if you just try and go from 0 to 60, it's going to be a lot harder, because you have to really embody all of that on all three senses. You have to visualize it. You have to, and if you can't visualize it, you just know it. You know it from your heart. You have to sense it. You have to really feel it, like you were there. Like you can literally scoop up the dirt and smell it. Or again, some people just know it. You have to, one needs to at least do the equivalent for their own self-process of all three of the senses. You have to sense it, you have to see it, and you have to feel it. Well, sorry, you not feel it. Yeah, you got to embody all of them, or it won't. The vibration will not be complete or whole, and so it then cannot attract. Like, and again, it takes practice. So the smaller you can, and just, I have a question that I was going to ask. If any of you guys have ever had a moment where you felt in perfect alignment with your higher self, okay? Kind of maybe remember what that felt like, because that is a perfect, simple example about what you're trying to recreate within yourself. Just those, like Chand was saying, when we first met up, we knew we were in alignment. We didn't know what we were doing, but we just knew if we kept doing this thing, something was going to come out of it. And something did come out of it. And then something's going to continue to come out of it. I don't know what it is next, but I know something's coming. And I know if all three of us, when we meditate every day together, if we put our collective focus on a single point, and we all individually live that out in our own way, but together, it starts to come fast. And that's the other beautiful thing about group meditation or collective meditation. And then that was going to be kind of like my other, if you have a friend or a family member, again, my theory, you'll hear this a lot, make it a game, make it something fun. Go to your partner and see if you guys can sit down and both manifest $1, or both manifest something that a game you'd like to play together, or an experience you'd like to do. Anything. Use your creativity to really jumpstart or hack this process. Because simply put, your creativity is the fuel for this entire process. If you can creatively imagine it and make it so vivid that it's hard to tell the difference between living it in the real world and living it in your internal world, the results will come quickly, and then you'll start to have faith, and it'll be easy and easier and easier and easier. And again, consistency. Don't burn yourself out. Start small, and make it fun and make it consistent. And then I guess one other little thing I want to say is ground yourself. Before this, it is very important to ground yourself. You want to make sure that you're not in the presence of or taking in any external energy. You may not even be aware of it, but just go to your happy place, wherever that may be. Tap into the Mother Earth, the core of the earth, or in nature, or that happy place that you have within your mind. Whatever you got to do to just ground yourself, and then you can start to build up, and then you can start to see not only where you would like to grow and evolve, but how you would like to see humanity grow and evolve. Like Chand was saying, now we can start to co-create together. We can start to co-create what this world's going to look like, co-create what AI is going to do and how it's going to help us, instead of being scared of anything. That's what the people don't want you to know, is that we are in charge. The masses of us are in charge, as long as we can sit down and collectively co-create from our heart space. And I'll wrap it up there.
Awesome, Tej. Thank you for that amazing insight, man. Like, one thing I keep hearing you say is that we need to make sure that we're focused on our heart, because that's the center, right? Like, it's like the closest, it's the closest thing I could think of to God, right? Like, if correct me if I'm wrong, but like when a baby is born, isn't the heart the first organ above everything that's created?
Yep.
So that's like your center, right? And one thing that you also said is like, be creative, right? And feel like use all your senses, smell it, taste it, feel it, hear it, and really get in that moment. And then another thing I was thinking when you said that was, in computer science we have this concept of chunking and breaking things down into packets, right? So we don't send the data all at once. Like, let's say we have something, we break it down into chunks, and AI kind of does something similar with the tokens, right? Like, so they take your prompt and then they chunk it out, and then the AI interprets that into numbers, and then it could process it, right? So what I was thinking is the same thing that you were saying about working with a partner, right? Like, So if you have a big manifestation, right? Like, for example, how we are currently manifesting land so that we can have a sustainable community, and we're chunking it out. We're getting certain pieces of the manifestation, and then collectively it makes the whole, right? So let's say you want to be a millionaire, right? Because it's a very common thing, right? And what you would do is first manifest the feeling, right? If you can't figure out how to get into the feeling, figure out like, okay, that's the manifestation. Like manifest just being around a millionaire one day, you know? Because then you have a point of reference. Like, oh, that's the vibration that he's on. Like you're able to pick their brain and okay, that's what they smell like. You know what I'm saying? Because it might be a smell that you've never smelled, right? Because they have access to certain colognes or something. You don't know. You know, oh, that's the type of textiles that they wear, the type of clothes and materials. So one thing I'm learning is that you could break down a manifestation if you want a partner, right? If you want a significant other, a twin ray, like you could manifest pieces of that. Maybe you meet a girl that has that one personality trait, and then you're like, oh, that's what that's like. Now you kind of like save that into your data bank. And then you start collectively building on top of it. And then eventually you're able to hold the whole manifestation. And then now you quantum jumped into that reality, right? So yeah, and then another thing you were saying is, stay grounded, right? Because that's so important, right? Because a lot of times we go up with the manifestation, but in reality, we have to bring it down, you know? Like we're trying to get it from the unmanifested realm. If we look at the like tree of life in the Kabbalah, it's I think it's called Kether to Malkuf, right? Malkuf is like earth, and Kether is like the unmanifested. It's like almost God realm, right? So you're bringing it down. You're distilling it. It's like water, right? Crystallizing. So
or Akash and Kashi.
There you go.
Akash and Kashi. Yeah, the same thing, just different.
Yeah, and it's as above, so below, so within, so without. And another thing that Chand was saying earlier, he was talking about basically you have to update your internal operating system so that you're magnetic to what you want, right? So even when you're not thinking about it, you're vibrating at a point where it's just like, it's just coming to you, right? And in a way, that's how we found each other. Right, we individually upgraded and we, cleaned out the hard drive, reformatted it, and made sure that it was vibrating at a certain point, and then we just collided with each other, right? And I think that works for everything, right? If you have limiting beliefs when it comes to your manifestation, right, you got to work out that doubt, work out the karmas or whatever is weighing you down so that you could ascend, right? A lot of times people want to go up, but in reality, you have to get rid of the weight and then you naturally just go up. Like it's not even a thing you're trying to do anymore, right? Yeah. So yeah, that's a lot of things that I was just noting there. But if you guys want to add more, go ahead.
Yeah, man.
What's the point of manifesting $1 million if you don't even know what you're gonna do with that $1 million? How can you properly manifest money that you don't even know what you're gonna do with? So just another.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to get into actually. Is like, let's talk about now like the subject of your manifestation, because that's kind of where you're kind of getting into there, and really imagining it, really feeling it, right? So I want to start here. Like we talked about, we're trying to manifest some land. I'm not gonna say trying. We are manifesting land. Yes. Speaking absolutes, first of all.
Oh yeah.
Like we're already in this whole process. This is not step one, but yeah. So first, you got to think of you got to realize things in your life, what you have, somewhere in you, something in you has wanted it or been okay with what you've got, right? Mm-hmm. And that could just be even subconsciously. So it's like, we have an intention and we want to change where we're at, where our mind and where our body has us placed right now. So now we start going, okay, what's the object? What's the thing I want? Is it $1 million? Is it land? Is it a certain partner? Right? And now you're thinking about it. Now you really do got to pay attention to the feeling too. It's like, say you're trying to think of a certain quality in a person and you're trying to feel good about attracting that, but you're just having a resonant feeling. You're not like quite feeling like, oh, I'm not feeling the warmth. Then you got to really start going. Why is it that I'm wanting this object or this quality or this thing? You know, is it because something outside of me told me this is what I should have? Is it in alignment with what you truly want inside? So this can actually bring in some shadow work when you start going like, why do I want this? Is this a pure intention? Is this something someone else wanted for me? Is this something that just it's what's the fad, what's cool this moment, you know? Or is this authentic for me? You know, I could sit here and try to manifest anything. There's an infinite realm of possibilities for what you can do in your life. But your energy, you know, and how you are connected, if we talk about the quantum, past, present, and future, there really is no difference. All exists, all have exist, all infinite possibilities exist, but you're on a timeline. You know, you want to attract that future timeline. You know, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, I'm going to manifest being a professional hockey player. You know, I'm almost 40 years old. That's just ain't going to happen. I can think about it as much as I want. I'm not going to be able to feel that into reality. So, and why would I want that anyway? That's got nothing to do with my life. So, you know, we really want to focus on like the intention and the reason behind the intention for the things we want to manifest. It's like, what is the dream really? You know, we could all try to manifest billions of dollars. Look, more money, more problems too. You know, you got to be aware of what you're bringing in. And then another thing, just going back to this, like living intentionally and manifesting intentionally. You know, our subconscious mind, the average person, subconscious mind controls your life 70%. So like what you think and do intentionally is only like 30% of your day until you start doing the work like meditation, bring in awareness. What does they talk about? They talk about awareness. Raise your awareness, raise your consciousness. This is where you raise what you are intentionally doing instead of running automatically through your day. Instead of having these automatic thoughts, it's like, okay, I want to manifest my dream life, but then I stop paying attention to my thoughts, and now I'm reacting to this cause and effect chain, right? So it's like we want to break out of the cause and effect chain. We can only do that with intention. So, oh, so and so, oh, my boss, they just treat me like crap, and I hate going to work, and I just keep going anyway because of this reason and that reason. So now you're like responding to this thing that's in your mind instead of intentionally being like, I'm stepping into a new reality. Mm-hmm. Right? So when we get automatic mode, it's just going to bring us back. So we need to have like strong intention for what we want to bring in. And we got to hold that in our mind with like a single pointed focus of vision. Mm-hmm. You know, talking about building this community, I think about it all day, every day. You know, I'm in there. I've got notes on my walls about it. This is one thing. I probably talk about this in every episode. I've got a whole bunch of notes on my wall. So I see every day, all through my day, or you can do dream boards and things like that. Anything that holds the image in your mind so that you're not forgetting, you're not slipping back into just the routine, mm-hmm. that everyday cycle that you're trying to get out of. Because habit and routine can hold you in, and it could bring your mind away from what you're trying to achieve. So once we figure out your intention, is my intention pure to who I am? You know, we gotta start thinking about living intentionally. Intention instead of automatic. Break out of that cause and effect reality. Just to sum up what I've been saying here. And I just realized we're about 2 minutes away from our guided meditation, which we brought to us by Tej. He's got a great meditation for us. I believe that'll be 20 minutes, and then we'll come back. If anyone's in the audience wants to ask some questions or do some chat, feel free to drop it. We're here for you.
Hey,
Anthony,
what's up,
welcome
Anthony?
Back, dude.
How you doing, bro?
Welcome back.
After the meditation, we could definitely touch base on what he's saying about having intense intuition, but doubting the ability to interact with that feeling at times. Because that's the divine feminine, and a lot of men in this society aren't in tune with that But lucky for you, you have 3 men that have gone through the process. So after the meditation, we love to talk about that as well, because that is a very pertinent point. How manifestation and quantum jumping is, in a sense, a divine feminine wave, and you have to learn how to ride it as a man. It doesn't come naturally. Women could do this just like they just breathe and like they just wake up and it's just like boom, it just manifested. But men, it's a different process. So Tej, could you tell us what the guided meditation is going to be about today before we get in?
Yeah, I do just kind of want to touch more on your great advice. The women, they're much more intuitionally based. So I bring that up because, again, that's why it's easier for them, because they can already just know, where men need to have like a step-by-step series. We're more logical. Anyway, today I'm going to lead us through a quantum jumping guided meditation, and it's going to be kind of open-ended, okay? Because I want to approach this to where everybody's a beginner, but I'll also leave open avenues for, if you're not a beginner, you can do more of a complex route within the guided meditation. So just to break it down in short, we're going to spend a few minutes first grounding, relaxing and grounding. Then once we ground, we're going to shift our perception, or our point of perception, from our head down to our heart. And then we're going to sit in that for a little bit, in which we will try and expand it outward, because, and again, this is, in my opinion, really important. In my experience, I have much more success with manifestation and quantum jumping if the purpose or the goal behind what I'm trying to manifest or quantum jump to is based out of pure love. Like, if I know that there's no alternative motive, I know that I'm doing it literally for the love, the unconditional love for myself and all others. This is the way. It just seems to be a little more successful. Then once we do that, we'll spend the back half of the meditation where people who feel more confident, they'll envision a door, and then on the other side of that door, they're going to walk into the reality that they're trying to jump to. Even if it's just to explore. Like, you'll just trust your process, trust your natural process. That's why we ground, and that's why we get into our heart space. I'm not a teacher. I'm just here to help keep your focus and concentration in awareness on a similar point. If you're new, instead of finding this door, just focus on the object that you're trying to attract to you or manifest. And again, just trust your process. Lastly, I'll just say the more that you can live it, breathe it, sense it, feel it, in your own way, even if you can't visually see it, know that you're seeing it, know that you're touching it, know that you're smelling it. If you can't touch it, see yourself touching it. Some of us are tactile, some of us are visual, some of us are auditory. We've got to respect each other's differences. That being said, I'm going to slowly start winding us down so that we can get in this meditation ship and take off.
Just started the timer.
Oh, you did? Okay. So I invite you to close your eyes, sit in a comfortable space, laying down, sitting in a chair, wherever you feel comfortable, warm, quiet. I invite you to take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale fully through the mouth. Deep breath in through the nose. Fully exhale through the mouth. One more deep breath in through the nose. And fully exhale through the mouth. Now, I want you to envision yourself growing roots from either your feet or your spine, or just any part of your body, if it's roots or antennas or vines, whatever it is for you. Just visualize something coming from your sacral, your ground, your root, your feet, down into the earth, either growing around the earth or growing down deep into the earth, into the center of the earth, or wrapping around the whole earth. Take your time. Be patient and gentle with yourself. Continue breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And when you see yourself with these roots around the earth or into the center of the earth, I want you to breathe up from the energy of the earth and then exhale back down into the energy of the earth. And we'll do this a few times, just breathing in, borrowing energy from Mother Earth, and breathing out, returning the energy to Mother Earth. One more deep breath in, borrowing energy from Mother Earth, and one more full exhale out, returning energy to Mother Earth. Now, just notice how you feel. Notice if your reality is shifted, or if tension has been released, or if you just feel more centered and grounded. And when you find yourself centered and grounded, we will then focus anywhere in your mind's region. If you know your third eye point between your eyebrows, it helps to focus there, but anywhere in your head will work. Still while breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Once you have your attention focused on your mind or your third eye, just slowly lower that point of perception, or just feel yourself falling down or floating down into your heart. Just naturally relax into it. Relax into your heart by relaxing out of your mind. And if you can't see yourself entering your heart space, just feel yourself entering your heart space. Know that you're in your heart space. And then start to focus on a golden light. A bright, warm, beautiful golden light that starts from your heart and begins to expand outward. With each breath in and each exhale, see this golden light expanding out, outside of your body, outside of this planet, and literally into the cosmos, the ether, the universe, all that is, everywhere, at all times. And once you feel connected to all that is, we will do the same thing where we breathe and borrow energy from all that it is, and then we return energy to all that is. We'll do this a few more times. If you can, each time you see yourself taking in, have your golden light expand. As you return, have your golden light expand. Know this with every part of your heart. Feel this with every part of your heart. Feel the warmth. Feel the gratitude. Feel the love. If you're having trouble with this, sense or feel someone you have great love for. And once that love comes into your heart, then just breathe that love in and breathe that love out. Once you are comfortable in this space, start to bring into your awareness that which it is that your heart desires. Try not to think about it. Let your heart tell your mind. And it feels different. It's almost like a thought with a little bit of latency. You have a thought that you know didn't come from your head. And if you're having trouble, just relax into your heart and allow it to come. Don't have expectations. Just be gentle on yourself and trust the process. If you can sense, see, or feel the object of your heart's desire, try and focus on it with all your senses. Try and zoom in on it. Try and touch it. Try and smell it. Try and feel it. Notice how it makes you feel. Notice the feelings it activates in your body. Be curious. Be creative. Be grateful. If you're looking for a reality, hold the door to that reality in your mind, in your heart's mind. And when you see your door, walk through it. And also start to see what you see or feel what you feel. Approach it as a curious child wandering around what your heart's desire. You may know what it is. You may be seeing a glimpse of it for the first time. Just trust your heart, trust your process, and trust your emotions to guide you. You know what feels right. You've done this before. You do this all the time. We're just here to remember together. Now for this last half of the meditation, I'm going to hold space and love and give you time and quiet for you to explore this new area or this new item or this new concept, like a new kid in a playground, or the new school that you were so excited to go to, the new job that you couldn't wait to start, the new house that you just moved in but never seen inside. Just have fun, be creative, be observant, do not judge, do not expect, become detached, but grateful and curious. If you get frustrated or your mind starts to wander, just gently come back to the deep inhale through the nose and the exhale through the mouth. Or gently come back into the sound of your beating heart, or the feeling of your beating heart, or the warmth of your heart, whichever anchoring process is best for you. Remember, this is your birthright. This is what your heart wants. This is what you were put here to do. What we can all do. We must just remember and continue to practice so that the feel of foreign no longer remains. It becomes as normal as breathing. A process, just like waking up, brushing your teeth, eating breakfast, showering, and starting your day. This is a sacred time and space where you can talk directly to your highest self out of purest love. Anchor into and hold on to the feeling of love, gratitude, excitement, joy. For if that's what you're focusing on, that's what you will find. That's what you will attract. That's what you will magnetize. Live and experience the experience and the emotions you will have after you get your heart's desire, after you obtain your dream reality. Live it inside yourself like it's already happened, because it already has happened. That's why you can think of it. That's why you can imagine it. It is quantum. It is infinite. It is you. now, wherever you are in your process or your journey, give thanks, show gratitude, thank yourself, thank your future self. Be grateful that you carved the time and space for this experience for yourself. And know that what you have seen, feel, or already know is already true and has already happened. And all we have to continue to do is hold these thoughts in our mind, live them in our everyday. Know that because of time, there is a lag between there and now. Know that as we slowly come back to the reality here and now, all one must do is wait for the door to open and you to walk through. Remind yourself as you slowly come back into your heart space and the space that you are in at this present moment, that it has been done. It has been heard. Thank your heart for showing you your truth. Big deep breath in through the nose. Full exhale through the mouth. Gently coming back into our heart. Deeply inhale through the nose. Fully exhale through the mouth. One more deep inhale through the nose. Fully exhale through the mouth. Now just experience your experience for a second. Notice how you're feeling. Notice any shifts. Just experience your experience, grounded into your being and your knowing. Thank your heart once more, and the great God Self within, and the universe as we know it. Also Mother Earth for her supporting us on this journey, allowing us a place where we can experience these experiences. One more deep breath in through the nose. Slowly exhale out the mouth. Now slowly start to wiggle your fingers, your toes, rub your palms, create some friction. Imagine the friction that you're generating is your ball of chi that you've just created from this experience, and allow your hands to go on any part of your body that the body calls. Just let them go wherever they want to go. Harness the energy of this experience. And then slowly open your eyes into the space that you are in. Gently coming back. Namaste. Satnam. Much love, much light. Thank you all. We are truly family, whether we all see it yet or not.
Wow. That was powerful.
Thank you,
Whew.
Tej. Wow.
Thank you, Tej. That was amazing. Does everyone else feel that?
Wow.
I felt them. I felt the collective. I was so happy to just be able to give love out.
Yeah, man. And that was pretty improv, right? You didn't really have a lot of time for planning. Really, that just came out of you. That was amazing, man. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Just channeled, bro.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was super nervous, I was not gonna lie. And then I tried to watch a YouTube video on quantum jumping by Dispenza, and then I was like, oh no, I can't, no. I'm just gonna have to wing it.
Yes, sir. Just freestyle it, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I meditate, I just ask myself to get out of the way. I just ask to be a conduit. Just
Yeah,
a
man.
conduit.
And you did it, bro.
Thank you.
Good.
Yeah, man.
How's everyone feeling in the chat? Anyone like to share their experience? Feel very invited and welcome to do so.
Yeah, even if it's not good, even if it's like that, but I love all the constructive criticism.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, bro. That was amazing, bro. Like, I felt like I was healing timelines. One, I went straight
Mm.
to the timeline, and then I got distracted, and then I came back. And when I came back, there was I guess, some healing to be done.
So awkward.
Mm.
Can I just pause? Because that was
Go
one of the
for it.
questions I wanted to ask you guys.
Yeah.
How did it feel to connect with a higher version of yourself? What insights or messages did you receive? Because it sounds like you were already answering that question, which is awesome.
I mean, it's all quantum. KK says, thanks, bros. It's always a pleasure. It was always a pleasure to be here. But the insight that I was getting was like, I just saw one. I saw me meeting my twin flame, or what is it, the twin ray. And then, but it was just like how we described. Like, it was like three girls having a picnic, and then like we just we just sat down and just joined them, like improv, right? That's how the universe works. And then from there, it was just like, then I saw us in the land, right? And then I'm just like, wow. And I was just feeling that. I was feeling that wholeness, that like, wow, like I got to a point where I'm like, I don't even know what else to manifest, you know? And I'm getting like emotional even as I say that, because it's like, yo, at that point I was like, what's left? Like, just this present moment is so delicious. Like, I don't even crave anything else, you know? Yeah, man. And then I saw my kids just running around in the land. It was like I was like in an earthen dome. Of course, I had the dreadlocks, and I was just like playing my guitar, and I was just like, yeah, like, it's done. Like, what else can I do other than live now? Like, I don't want anything else. And yeah, and then after that, I kind of got distracted, and then there was a female in my life that, like, I didn't treat her the way I am now, you know? Like, I was still in my just unconscious phase, and I just had to ask for forgiveness. And as I did that, my heart got lighter, and then I was just like, it's all love, you know? Like, yeah, man, it was just powerful, bro. Like, I did not expect that, bro. Like, even as I'm recounting it, I'm like, that really happened. Like, I just went there. So thank you, Divine Mother. Thank you, Tej, for being a conduit. And I'm gonna end it with this, and then we're gonna go to Chan. But everything we do is improv, is a freestyle. Like, we typically find like the title and then we just wing it and just go for it. It's a total act of surrender. And I think that's the key. You know, that's how you tap into that divine feminine. Surrender. You know, there's no thought. So go ahead, Chand. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, thank you, Aqua. Man, it's really beautiful, man. Wow. Sounds like you just had a really vivid, powerful experience, and you really felt it too. Like it was so real, you felt it
Yeah, man.
to where it's like you just have a knowingness that that's what's coming.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is just live until it gets here. You know, and I'm with you on that. You know, it's a healing thing of my own in the past year. Just realizing we don't have to try to control every moment. You know, and then that's a very masculine thing, is like, I want it, I'm gonna get it. And, you know, and just trying to make every moment the way to get it. But that's not leaving room to receive.
Yeah.
It's not leaving the spaciousness for the divine feminine to come in and use her womb to birth the reality.
Yeah.
You know? Whenever we can just kind of like, the control part is defining what we want, sure. To see that picture, to know what we want our future to be like, what is our dream reality, to imagine it, to feel it, and then we just surrender, like you said. We don't need to control anymore. You know, it's like it's almost like control is a symptom of desperation, of lack. It's like just think like you're hanging off a cliff, you're just grabbing for a rock. You know, I'm trying to control, I gotta save my life. It doesn't have to be like that. You know? You can imagine, and it's like Tej said in the meditation, it's already happened. That's why we could see it in our minds.
Yeah.
And we just gotta shift by seeing it, feeling it, and knowing, just knowing that that's what's coming. So that's beautiful, man. In my experience, it was pretty vivid, but it was just something I've seen so many times already. You know, it's you guys coming here to Iowa, in our sort of our bridge to our larger community, when we'll have many of the members of our community all living in one place together. And you guys arriving, and just all the things we've talked about doing, you know, like we sat down and just put our ideas on a board. So that's all we got to do, is just get it out, and like it's all gonna happen, you know, like all of our visions, so that we could bring them together and see them together, you know. And I just saw them, and yeah, I saw some twin ray visions as well. So maybe I was kind of picking up your frequencies.
I was in there, bro. I was like, wow.
You know, well, it's like we talk about, you know, we could see it because it's already happened. And, you know, we're kind of going into a place beyond time and space. So that's like the beyond time, but the beyond space is that our consciousness, like when we're all meditating together, we're going beyond space, and we kind of connect energetically as well. So no matter where we're at, and we've seen this through having an active meditation practice together.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, it's like I was just right there with you. I could like peek into what you were seeing.
Yeah, we're going
the
into
twin rays
all
for a
time
minute
and
there,
space.
you know?
Literally
all time and space, yes.
We're going into, and
everything,
colloquially
everywhere,
known
all
as,
at once.
Yeah, colloquially known as the fifth dimension.
Yeah, and to touch on what Chad
outside
was
of
saying,
time.
with like the desperate and hanging on, a key pointer that will help this process is if you are detached in the way of how this manifestation comes to you. Like, don't get an idea in your mind that, okay, for what I wanted to come to me, it has to look like this, and this. Like, okay, so for us to meet up, I've got to get on a plane on this date and then we're going to meet up. No, it's like, I'm going to get there however I get there. It could be a train, it could be a boat, could be a plane, could be the day that we plan, could be not the day we plan. It's going to happen, but if you put focus onto one avenue or one possibility of how that manifestation gets to you, you collapse all the other possibilities of how that manifestation get to you. So you really, the more open mind you have about how it can come into your field, the more options or avenues that your heart's desire can manifest into your field. So just try and remember that not to limit it. And
Yeah,
then
I would touch on that. Just yeah, with that openness, if you can only see one way, it's a lot easier to begin to doubt. If it seems like something's not going to go the right direction, and that's the only way you thought of, that one path, it's easy to go, oh, maybe it won't happen now. And it's like the moment you think, oh, maybe it won't happen, now you're
done.
manifesting you're not happening. Yeah. So that's the same with like the control and desperation. When you're feeling that, that's what you're manifesting, is lack. And when you have trust and faith and you have openness, you're manifesting the manifestation.
Don't plan to fail. Don't make backup plans. No, just like you did in the meditation, it's already done. And it's more of like you're now just being patient, but it's a different type of patience. It's faith. You're having faith, which is confused with patience. But when you feel, and again, this goes back to like what we were talking about in the last episode with desired outcome plus path of least resistance equals desired effect or desired outcome. So intention, path of least resistance equals desired effect. And
yeah, I'll say with patience, it's along the same line. Patience isn't really about time. It's about having faith that what's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah.
It's also a knowing, you know what I'm saying? That's why, like, I'm big in speaking in absolutes. And the guys know me, like, I'm like, oh, it's already done, you know? Like, we are, everything that we're trying to do, it's done. And that comes from experience. And it also comes from, like, a deep faith and reverence that I have for the divine and my interactions with her, right? With the, you know, God the Father, you know, and the Divine Mother, and just knowing that like as a child, right? And parents could relate to this, like you'd want the best for your child. You're always looking out for your child. And when you have that deep knowing of like when my intention is heart-centered, it's already done. It's taken care of. And you start small, like how we were saying before the meditation, and then you get to a point where it's just like 24/7. You just know, you just always know, like it's already done. So I just wanted to say that. And one last thing, I just want to read this quote here. Well, it's from the Bible. It's Hebrews. Let me see. Hold up. It talks about faith, because we're talking about faith. So it's real short. It's not too long. So it says, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Right? And that's straight from the Bible. And when I read that, when I would always refer back to that. It's the evidence of things not seen. What are we talking about? The quantum, the unmanifested, right? So yeah, I just wanted to drop that seed as well.
Thank you, Aqua. And I just, with the same as with this practice and with what he's talking about with faith, consistency is your best friend. Remember that you can do this anytime. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be, in fact, it's better to do it for a short amount of period of time every day than it is to do it every other day or once a week for a long amount of time. And just try and remember that this is, again, it's for you. It's by you, for you. How many things can you say in your reality right now are that? From your deepest part of your heart to yourself, knowing that it will benefit you. It's as long as you give it a real try. I mean, like, try it for a week. See what happens. You know, like, no, you can only hear us, but it'll never be the same as when you first experience it for yourself, because that experience changes everything. And then it allows you to continue to have faith easier. The process. Then you can apply it to other areas. You can apply it to other things you want to do that haven't done yet. This is like you're a chance for you to generate momentum and then use that momentum and then apply it elsewhere. All while learning about yourself, all while being in tune with yourself or starting a relationship with yourself, your highest self, your heart self, your soul, your divine self, whichever you want to call it. Yeah, consistency. And I want to say thank you. I just want to say thank you again to you guys.
Yeah, man. And consistency becomes easy when it's something that your heart truly desires, you know? And like for me, it's not about what can I manifest? Like I need it tomorrow. I'm looking at like, what's my end of life going to look like? And working backwards from there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've just known since the first time I went to a mountain. I was like 12 or 13. Went to Colorado for a week. Hiked all over. And I was like, I'm going to get old and I'm going to retire on a mountain. I'm going to just have a little hut or something. And that's always been in my mind. And just as time has gone on, now it's like, well, we're talking about getting land for our community. And everyone's like, what are the valued things about the land? The majority of people are like, well, I'd like to be in some kind of mountainous elevation. You know, it's like, oh, wow. And then like, I don't need a big house. You know, that I said like a little hut or something. It's like, oh, we got a guy in our community who wants to start a tiny home business. Bam. We have a tiny home on a mountain. Look at that. Like it just starts to unfold. When you have a really long vision, the pieces just start coming together over time. You don't have to even worry about the time because it's all just a matter of time. You know, you have a knowing of where you're going. You know, you've got the GPS set and locked in, and you just kind of, what stops them? I make it along the way to the end of the day,
Then
and it just starts to unfold. Yeah, and you just keep that locked in. You know, if it feels right, it's gonna stay locked in. If it's not right for you, then it's probably not gonna stay in your consciousness. It's gonna slip away, and you're gonna go into something else, either consciously or unconsciously. But if it's like in vibration with who you are and your soul, your higher self, or your observer, you know, it's the wave that feels like the right wave for you in your life. It's gonna stick. So.
Yeah, man.
And what about you guys? Like, how do you see your manifestations unfolding? Like, what's your strategies?
I mean, you nailed it right on the head, bro. Like, when it's authentic to you, the more authentic you are with yourself and you have that self-awareness, it's gonna automatically guide you, right? Like, that's the intuition, that's the divine feminine. It's a wave, it's a flow, it's a dance, it's a, you know, just surrender, right? Like, this is actually a very ancient mudra, right, from ancient times, right? This is saying that we're connected with the infinite, right? We are always like just one with everything. Just this. It's so simple. And what happens when a police, you know, tells you to stop? You put your hands up, right? So it's in our DNA. This is an act of surrender. but when you consciously do it to the divine with your heart, you're always gonna be on that wave like a little leaf just going with the river. There's no force, there's no effort, and that's how I have experienced all my greatest manifestations. Anytime I tried, it would always be distorted. So that's what I would say. How about you, Tej?
So I've come to the process of asking myself, what is it for? What is the out, like with this move, I looked at my life here. Well, what am I doing here? Is it just helping me, or is it helping someone else? Okay, what am I doing over there? Is it just helping me, or is it helping someone else? So I've learned that if I kind of skip a step by like putting me not out of it, but to the side, and then just kind of looking at the end result, like I was saying with the, okay, instead of saying I want $1 million, it's like, well, what am I going to do with $1 million? And then does that resonate with me? And then, okay, now I'll manifest $1 million because I know I'm going to take and I'm going to build this shelter, or I'm going to build this land for this community. And I can see that it's like when you skip a step and it's in line, you then know everything else from then back is in alignment. So it's just kind of another way to like hack to get yourself out of it, and then you know you're truly in line. And then with the grounding process, or just getting into your heart space, knowing that you're asking this to show you, not this. Those help. Those, for at least for me, that helps a lot. And then just letting your heart or your emotions guide you. They are really our internal compass. Every energy will trigger a part in the body. Every energy has a sense. And you know, when you're being honest with yourself, you know what feels good and what doesn't feel good. And you know when you're avoiding something, it's probably because, well, you know it doesn't feel good, but you don't want to confirm that to yourself, so you just kind of like sidestep around, and then you're like, oh, well, I'm not really sure, but I'm not really gonna do it and really get the feeling of it. So again, it's just like anything you can do to set yourself up for success and have a game about it. Everything is much easier to do with joy. And if you find the joy, or if you find something that makes you joyful, and then you backtrack from there, or reverse engineer, because that's kind of how I like to do it. Just go to the end result and then work back, because by the time you work back and then forward, you understand the process a lot better. But we're all built differently. And then that being said, well, Duncan had some questions, right? I don't want to skip. I want to answer what.
Yeah. So Duncan said, this topic hits home. I feel like I have an intense intuition, and I doubt my ability to interact with the feeling. Therefore, always fall short. But I'm learning day to day to test and trust the feelings. Often hits like deja vu moments in my life. So it's more like a comment, if you guys want to, just shed some light to that.
Well, he pretty much just explained the whole process perfectly. And that deja vu moment is that moment of the magnetism. That moment where what you thought you knew and what you actually know are now hitting. And it's like, oh wow, I've been there before. But then I haven't been here before. But obviously you have been there before. That's why it feels like it does. I know it's a hard concept to like kind of wrap your brain around at first, but if you just kind of let the external, what you've heard externally, fall away, and just kind of repeat it to yourself from a heart-centered place, it only makes sense. That's why it feels like deja vu, because you've literally been there before. And they've got science that proves now that they hooked up a bunch of piano players, and they had piano players, like people who are really good at playing pianos. They made a gamma wave, but the people who were thinking about playing the piano, not actually playing the piano, triggered the same gamma wave. Like the brain didn't know that they weren't actually playing the piano, everything showed up the same as the other people playing the piano, because they're the again the brain's 2D, the heart's 4D, and it's just quantum. It's quantum. This is the most powerful thing we have. If you The electromagnetic field of your heart goes outside your body 3 to 4 feet. The electromagnetic field of your brain can be measured like 3 to 6 inches outside your brain, outside your head. So you tell me which one's more powerful. Not to go off subject, bringing her right back in.
Still on subject. I mean, the heart's clearly more powerful. But we use our brain to concentrate, you know? It's kind of like the steering wheel in a way, right? And the heart's like the motor, if we look at it like that.
Yeah, and like, sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, Duncan's question, that comment is a perfect example about his heart was starting to, at the beginning of his comment, his heart was there. At the end of the comment, you could hear the brain trying to take away the experience of the heart. He already knew, but then he talked about how it seems foreign. Like, it's just the brain trying to measure the experience of what you already know. So if you just keep trusting that, you get to a point where the brain, it can keep trying to make it logical, or I like to say it robs you of the experience. But with more practice, you just fall into your intuition because you have faith and trust in it. And then you're repeating the process. That's why consistency is just so important. Thank you, Duncan.
Yeah, thank you, Duncan. And one other thing, because we're talking about consistency, Bruce Lee, he said, I don't fear the man that knows 1,000 kicks. I fear the man that does one kick 1,000 times. And, you know, just that alone is so powerful, right? Because you're putting all this intention into this one movement. And it might be like you feel like you're not doing a lot because we live in such a like high octane society where it's like go, go, go. You have to do things and multitask and hustle culture. But in my life, the more intention that I put into things is how I quantum jump into those timelines where like you experience that deja vu. And I'm grateful for that explanation that you said, Tej, because what I saw was like there's two timelines, right? And then when we have that deja vu, is like it's that motion, that's the deja vu, you know? You're like locking into it. And that was beautiful, man. Like that was an amazing like just analogy and the way you described it. So thank you for that. And how about you, Chand?
Yeah, I loved everything you said there too, Tej. And Aqua, I loved your analogy from Bruce Lee. Because the person who knows 1,000 kicks, sure they can kick a lot of different ways, but then there's the person that can do one kick 1,000 times. You know, they've become that kick. They are that kick now. And like to quote Neville Goddard, who's a master on teaching about manifestation, you only know a thing spiritually by becoming it. You know, like you have to assume the identity of what you want to have, right? Like you can only, like you must be conscious of being healthy to know healthy. You have to be conscious, you have to identify as being secure to know security. You have to assume what you want to believe before you can believe it. You know, there has to be a basis for transformation, a basis for new thoughts and ideas and ideals, and that's, you've got to assume the thing. Like you gotta become it. You gotta be that kick. If you want to land that kick, you got to become that kick, and you land it every time.
Yeah.
You know, and another thing Neville Goddard talks about, you know, just talking about this identity, you know, even if we go to human design, identity is in the heart. It's in the G center, which is, you know, there's a lot of theories that say there's two heart chakras here actually, and they split it in two in human design, and the identity is one of them. And Neville Goddard's like, let me quote him from The Power of Awareness: I may convince myself to be a rich man, or a poor man, or a beggar man, or a thief, but the center of my being remains the same, regardless of the concept I hold myself. So think about this, like, this might be backwards on the screen. My notes from the book, but I am, right? Here's I'm a man, I'm a blonde, I'm a cat, I'm a tree. You know, the identity changes, but I am always stays the same. So it's like, you want to really become something, start just believing I am the thing. You know, there's the you that's never changing, and the thing you attach to it that changes. So I am that kick, you know. And then you find yourself practicing that kick because you're going to reinforce that identity. You know. What you define yourself with your identity is what's also going to unfold around you. You know, I could say like, I'm just a clerk at the gas station. Guess what? I'm not going to become a millionaire if I tell myself I'm a gas station clerk. No offense to any gas station clerks. If I start saying, I am a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. You know, I am starting a podcast with my friends.
And you just slid into every affirmation. How does every affirmation start? I am, and then the affirmation. Exactly. And the only reason the affirmations don't work for some people is they don't believe in it, they don't truly believe in it, or they don't really mean it when they say it. And I too just wanted to touch, that was powerful, powerful insight, Chan. And then Aqua, I just wanted to circle back around too to the beauty of it. Sounded like not only did you get to kind of quantum jump, but you also got to kind of like I don't know if it was a past life or you just hopped over to a different parallel reality and you did some healing. You got distracted, but then you hopped over and you're like, oh, I really got to heal this part of me. And then you just did. You like used the same principle to manifest healing.
Yeah, like, I was just focused on my heart. And when I described that whole scenario to you guys, I got distracted, came back to the heart, and then it presented me that moment, which was in this life, you know, like the person I was talking about was someone that just I had a relationship with, but I just ended it sourly. Like, you know, it was just wasn't like harmonious how it ended. You know, there was a lot of pain in it, and I hadn't thought about it for a while, but then I was just like, I apologize, like forgive me, like I was ignorant, like I didn't know, but now I could feel your pain. I would never do that to you again in this state, you know. And then it was just a release, you know.
And that's beautiful because your body organically did it. Your heart just did it. All you did was trust the process. And so now, even if you didn't really per se get what you manifested right here, right now, you got, like, you're always getting something out of it. Healing's always going both ways. And to when you open your heart like that and kind of just let go of the wheel, the things that are of the highest priority will happen naturally. And you'll hear me talk about this a lot because like I'm a firm believer in getting teachings or examples out in a way that allow individuals to heal or experience them organically in their own timeline, in their own process. Because when that happens, it will register with that person, like we're seeing right here, right now with Aqua, on such a deep level. So deep you might not even realize what's happening. It's because it's happening so organically, just flowing. That's what your heart does. Anyway, that was beautiful. I wanted to, and same thing with the I am, Chan. That's beautiful because it really, people don't break down affirmations enough, but it's that simple process, and it's a powerful process. And I am, because that's what we are. And then just like a little mini quantum jump, what do you want to be? I am a millionaire. I am happy. I am manifesting this, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
again, have fun, experiment. Like
Yeah.
there's no reason to not like be so excited about all this stuff. And the time and the place and the space we live in where the science is starting to prove it, and there's the internet so we can try all these things. I mean, man, it's beautiful.
What a
So
time.
I wanted to kind of take things on a left turn here and ask you guys a question. Just from a different perspective on all this. So, like, what might you say to a person who maybe they want to change their life, but they're in this place where their only real desire is to numb themselves to the life that they're in? Maybe like with yeah, some sort of addiction or distraction, or like TV or video games or even alcohol or drugs. Like they feel deep down they want change, but they're so in it, they're in this loop where the only desire they can really feel is like to escape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, I've definitely been there. And I could just speak to myself, like, just know you're not alone, man. You're not the only one, because a lot of times we tend to isolate because we don't feel like anyone understands us. And I would say that like you will get through it. You know, it's just part of the cycle of life that we're currently living in, this game of karma. And sometimes we have to burn off those karmas. You know, sometimes we have to feel the pain. Even in the I am teachings, they talk about that. Like, if you do something to someone else, you will incarnate as the other thing, you know, and you will feel that pain. So it's the filtration process. So if you're stuck in those loops, you know, one, have compassion for yourself. Because that was one thing I was lacking for so long, just like compassion. I would just get really frustrated and like, I'm like, man, why can't I stop smoking cigarettes? Why can't I stop smoking weed? And why can't I stop doing all these things? And I'll just get, and I would try, and I could do it for 3 days, and then I'll stop and then go. And what really helped me, I would say, is like compassion, like deep compassion of just saying like, hey guy, hey bro, like I love you, bro. Like, you know, like it's okay, you failed, but at least you know that you want to get better. Like, that's the main thing, like, you know. So I would say like in AA, they say like identifying the problem is the first step, right? That awareness. So yeah, and now from hindsight, I would also say find others that are also in that journey, right? Because it's gonna make it 10 times easier. So that's what I would say to someone struggling. Yeah, just really. And another thing, and this is I'm gonna end it here. Like, be in nature, ground yourself, right? Like, this is a very practical advice. Go to the park, you know, run, do some exercise, get your lymphatic system moving, like get all the blood moving, because what that's gonna do is give you a clear head, and then you're gonna be able to see it all. And it's not gonna happen instantaneously, but the clearer that everything is, you're able to face it, right? And I think that's the main thing. When you're in a dark place, you have to bring light. You have to illumine that place, and the more light that enters into that place, it dissipates all the darkness, right? And that's what I would say. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Oh man, so that's such a good question, Chand. And Aqua, that's great advice. I to touch on in a different angle, so that I'm not repeating what you're saying. My grandpa said, he always had this advice, which I didn't really understand when I was younger, but I come to understand it now. He said, no matter what you do, the time is going to pass. So like, if you watch TV, the time's going to pass. If you try and go out and take a walk, time's going to pass. The other thing I'm going to say is the way energy works is what you resist persists. So if you're framing if you're framing this problem like, I gotta quit this, I gotta quit that, it's just gonna keep persisting because you're still focused on that thing you're trying to quit. If you reframe it like, I wanna start this. So, or like, I'd like to do a half an hour less of I'd like to swap a half an hour of TV for a half an hour of going to the park, or a half an hour of yoga, or a half an hour of anything. Try and reframe it differently so that you're not focusing on what you're trying to quit because you're still putting energy there. You're focusing on what you want to accomplish, what you're trying to manifest, what you're trying to exchange, because then you're putting your energy over here instead of over there. And then you can start to build momentum. And then it's right back to like what we were talking about with the neuroplasticity. Like the first, when you see that there's a problem, oh, I want to stop drinking coffee, I want to stop smoking cigarettes, you trade coffee or cigarettes for a smoothie, or for a walk on the beach, or for 30 minutes of meditation, whatever it is. Trade it for something, and then put your energy focus on the positive thing. And the first few days are going to be hard because there's no neuro programming in your brain. It's like hacking the first path through a jungle when the other thing already has a highway for your receptors to go, because there's momentum. You've been doing it. The outside world, it's been happening so much that those external forces are depressing on you. That's why you're depressed. So another thing of advice I would say is get creative. Use your emotion, use your fire, use your creativity, use your curiosity, anything you have. Aqua Wolf also suggested friends. Find friends, because that does make it a million times easier. And in any sort of rehab, the first thing they tell you is stop hanging out with the people that you used to drink with, or stop hanging out with the people you smoked with, or doing drugs with, because just seeing those people activate, we don't use the T word here, but they activate your brain, and then you're quantum jumping back to that old memory, back to that old self. Your old neurons and receptors are firing on that same path. So you just want to focus on the new path. And then also, like Aqua said, don't be so hard on yourself. If you made it 3 days for the smoothie and then you fall back and you do the coffee, like, show yourself compassion, because the fact that you had to show yourself compassion shows you that you care. That's why you're sad that you broke down and had coffee. But then use the compassion to fuel you to start right back up. And then instead of 3 days, you go 6 days. And then by the time you get to day 10, you see the benefit that this has over this, and it becomes easier to go this way. And then we're right back into consistency. We're right back into momentum. And then all of those add faith and trust in your process. Then you can start to feel good about yourself. Then it's easier to be more compassionate with yourself. I mean, all of these things, that's, in my opinion, what people don't understand, what the majority of people don't understand about energy is their loops, their circles, their cycles. And once the cycle gets in momentum, it's hard to break at first. You have to go from the one to the neutral, and then you have to start in the other polarity. So from negative, we have to acknowledge, bring awareness, okay, this is negative. Now we got to slow it down. We get to neutral, and then we find the positive approach or avenue that we want to focus on. And then we build momentum that way. And then once we build momentum that way, it becomes harder. You can't just go from positive all the way back to negative. You slowly stop doing what you just generated. Like, so then you just, oh, I'm feeling good because I've been doing walks to the beach. I don't think I need to go to the beach. So then you skip a day. And then that turns into skipping another day. And then slowly but surely the energy momentum starts to go back the other way. And then it's easier to lock back into your old habit. So awareness, consistency, faith, trust, and just love, and being easy on yourself. and be creative, because just like you've heard the three of us over the same question, there's a vast amount of different approaches, whether it's getting a friend or doing something creative like art or doing yoga or meditation, or just trying these things until you find one where it's like, oh yeah, that's it. Because like Chand was saying, the one that resonates the most with you or generates the best feeling is going to be the easiest one to continue to do, the easiest one to generate momentum. If you're making yourself do one, even though it's good, there's still a chance that you might, skip and then start to fold back. If you can find one that you really enjoy doing, it'll be easier and easier to do. Set yourself up for success. Great question, Chan.
Yeah.
Amazing question.
Yeah, it sounds like you're both just really talking about taking full responsibility for your life and having compassion for yourself along the way, and really being observant of kind of the choices you're making, and being conscious about making new choices that are in alignment and not putting your energy into what you were doing before. And Tej, you really broke that down very beautifully in a scientific way, looking at loops and going from one pole to the other, and the cycle can move back and forth. That's awesome. I was just thinking about receptors. When you're talking about receptors, I ran into a friend of mine the other day, and he's like, dude, I finally did it. Finally quit vaping. I quit nicotine. And I'm like, when? He's like, today. He's like, I don't know, man. Like, my head's foggy. I'm not even thinking right. Like, it's all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, just give it. If you can make it to day 7, it's gonna be a lot better. Like, it takes time. Your receptors are just like freaking out. They're like, where'd that stuff go? And then they start repatterning, and they're like, oh, okay, we're actually fine without this the whole time. Wow. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. But then you get to this point after you're detoxed and you've got new patterns, and it's like, at least for me, realize like, and I was on nicotine for like over a decade, but it's like, I'm not being interrupted by a craving all day. You know what I mean? I'm not like, my mind is so clear because there's not this thing going, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. How are we gonna get out and take a break? How are we gonna sneak away from here, get some nicotine? Maybe we can go vape in the bathroom. No one's in there. And then it just becomes like peace. It's amazing. I was just trying to tell him that, because like when you're in it, I mean, it's tough. It's tough to make that kind of change. And I just think you got great advice of just do what you can to replace it, and don't, like both of you said, be easy on yourself, and like, but the thing that makes the most sense is going to be the thing to do it, and that could be just sleeping a lot. The first couple days too. Like, if it's painful, you can just try to sleep. But something else that was mentioned was like, if you are trying to quit something, and like drinking, and then you go back and you hang out with your old friends, and what do they do all the time? They drink. Yeah. So yeah, I would say like anything problematic, like I said earlier, you and your environment are one. And like, you determine your environment, your attitude, and all that. So it's like, if you really want change, realize too that your environment can impact you, because it is one with you. So like, even if it's not like I'm drinking with my friends, but maybe like there's this thing in my life that's painful, and the only way I know how to cope with it is to drink or something. Because I've definitely been here, just in many different ways. It's like, maybe you just need to cut that thing or those people out of your life too. Maybe they're not drinking buddies. Maybe there's like some unhealthy relationships you got going on, and it's like, what's more important, like keep playing in this dynamic or worrying about how they feel about me, and then when things aren't great, I'm gonna go and try to numb myself, Well, there's a pattern there. It's like, seems like the best part of the equation is to take them out of the equation. Say, love you, thanks for the lessons, but I gotta love me too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's important to look at our environments and just going back to this theme, take full responsibility for our lives. And when I go to my agreements with myself here on my wall, that's my favorite one. I commit to taking full responsibility as the creator of my reality and using challenges as opportunities for growth and having compassion for my mistakes. You know?
Amazing.
I think that's what it comes down to. Like, you gotta, once you have the awareness that there's a problem, it's like, accept the responsibility. I got myself into this. I gotta get my way out. And it's okay, because I've got a lot of lessons I've learned from this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I love myself for being able to go through this to learn those lessons. And I love myself enough that I want and deserve to step into my dream reality. You know, this isn't my dream reality. It seemed like it was nice. It seemed like it was going somewhere along the line. Maybe I had some karmas I had to work out, but we could still get to that dream reality. That's just my 2 cents on it all.
Amazing.
Take your power back.
Amazing, man. You know, what's the word? Self-responsibility? No, was it like just
unconditional love for oneself and all others.
This is the way.
The way.
So one thing you mentioned was Neville Gardner, right? And he always says like feeling is the secret, right? And what are we doing when we're coping, right? We're numbing, right? So the secret to unlock your dream reality is that if you are coping at the moment, there's some shadow work that needs to be done, you know? And it's painful. It is painful because I did a lot of shadow work. I had like so much, bro. But you gotta, the compassion is the light. That's why we keep talking about compassion and being easy on yourself, because like it's rough and everyone has different shadows that they have to work through, you know, and that's why you also need help, right? Like I've had different counselors and life coaches and therapists and spiritual response therapy. Like I've done so many modalities, right? Because I wanted to bring light from every angle, like because I wanted to illuminate that whole entire space. And the more I did that, the less the draw to even cope, like I don't even feel it anymore, you know? And even if it creeps up again, I have so much compassion that it leaves as quick as it comes, you know? And I think that's the key, is just like the coping is the effect, but the cause is the like the thing you're running from, right? Whatever that is, everyone has different shadows, you know? And that's a process, right? That's a process, and you need support, you need help, people that have gone through that process to tell you, yeah, you know, the medicine is bitter and you might throw up as well. It's gonna get rough, but guess what? After you've purged and after you've cleansed, you know, you're gonna feel renewed. And when you feel renewed, you're not gonna want to dirty your vessel anymore. You're not gonna want to go to those like lower vibratory things. You're not gonna want to hang around those places, those peoples. You're not gonna want to consume that type of media, right? Like all these things just kind of like slowly fall off, the less weight that we're carrying, right? And that's what shadows are. They're dense vibrations. It's dense, it's tense, it's resistance, it's, you know, it's these things inside of our body. Like when you're loose, right, and you're free, you don't want to cope. You literally want to be in the moment. Like even now, if I drink a little bit of wine, I'm like whatever, bro. Like it's cool. It's like meh. I'd rather meditate, you know. like like it just feels better, you know. And that comes from the lightness, the sensitivity, right? Because that's really what's happening. To unlock your dream reality, you have to feel, right? That's what Neville Goddard said. Feeling is the secret. You have to be more sensitive, right? And that means the full spectrum, the light and the dark, until there is no more darkness. So I just wanted to bring that into the awareness. How about you, Tej? What do you have cooking over there?
So just like you said it beautifully, if you've only known shadows, it's hard to kind of find the motivation to take that bitter medicine until you start to experience the sweetness of the healing. And then once you've experienced them both, you realize how much better the lighter vibration is over the dense vibration, and then it helps you not go back, because you've experienced both polarities. So, and then you've done work, so it just becomes easier and easier. All that hard work that you have to do that you may be avoiding right now is what you can utilize to help you from going back, because you can remind yourself where I was, how hard I had to work, and where I am now, and that I don't want to do all that over again, and I shouldn't. I mean, doing it once is enough. I know that sometimes we repeat things, some people more than others, and again, that's okay too. Every time you fall back, just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and go again. And use the same process. It's like, oh, I had to do that 3 separate times. I'm sure as heck not going to go and do it again. And then another thing I want to touch on is like, I think both of you guys kind of said it. We live in a time where it helps and it's very beneficial to start really realizing that everything you are around starts to program you. Everything you take in, everything you see, everybody you talk with, it all starts to your gut digests it, and then it reprograms you based on the experience, what's around you. TV, if you're watching just constant fear, it's hard to break yourself away from that energy pattern that's been constantly being projected into your field, and then do something better. Again, we want to set ourselves up for success. We want to make it as easy as possible. We want to take as small a bite as we can. We want to do what we can do and feel good about it. And that I just bring that up because that's one thing that I noticed with me, that just even TV, because Netflix, I mean, yeah, it's great and it's good to tune out, but you start to also ask yourself, what am I tuning out from? So these are good questions to ask yourself. What am I tuning out from? Or why do I feel the need to tune out? Why am I doing this thing that I keep seeing me doing, that I don't enjoy me doing? Like, be investigative. Like, yourself won't lie to you. The hardest part is to just ask the questions and then be okay with the response that you get. Like, they talk about too, when you're not in a locked in, consistent, centered state of yourself, when you come around people, their lower vibrational thoughts are projected into your field, and they will activate a thought of similar vibration, which will then go into your mind, even though it's not your thought, because you're hanging around with these people and we're such sensitive beings. You start to pick up on the thoughts of others, especially if it's friends or family or media that you think you're trusted in. Just to land the ship and wrap it all up, ask more questions than you're used to asking. Be investigative. Really, why am I watching this? Why am I really watching this? What am I gaining from it? What is it helping me? What is it hindering me? Is it helping me? Is it hindering me? Do I enjoy it? Does it feel good? Like, these are all things that when you don't know what else to do, just start taking it and turning your investigative you inward, because this part of you just wants to help you investigate. It wants to tell you. It wants to help you find the easiest way for you to hop these obstacles.
Amazing.
And then with that being said, I'll let Aqua land our ship before I fly it away too much.
So go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say the programming of the environment, you know, we live in this world where we have access to like choose so many things, like what music, TV, movies. And I just remember being younger and I was like really had all this turmoil, and I blamed it on my father, but it just turned out to be circumstantial and past memories that I held on to. But then I would listen to music that was like projecting anger and just the emotions I was feeling, but I just listened to it all the time. But all I was really doing was programming myself to stay in that resonant field. You know, and back then I'd be like, yeah, I like it because I can relate to it. But it's like the day I met a friend and she showed me reggae. And I was like, wait, this is music about love? Music about finding freedom? Overcoming your struggles? What? Changed my life. I was like breaking the programming, you know what I mean? And yeah, but then it came down. What am I running from? What was I running from? I can't just blame other people. And I think that's a big thing that happens with like addictions and things like that. Is like, it's not taking responsibility for our lives. We're in pain and we want to blame, and maybe we truly believe that it's coming from someone else. You know, but anything that's happened in the past no longer exists. All we have is right now. I just want to leave it with that.
Yeah,
it's much easier to blame than it is to take responsibility.
Yeah. And I'm sure that everyone has had stages where you identify with the victim mentality. You know I have. And you have to, once you are aware of it, you shift to the victor, right? Like, things are happening for me. Like, all the things that happen are lessons, right? Like, you're basically, what's the word? You're transmuting the shadow into light, right? You're converting the lower octaves to the higher octaves, right? So with that said, we are at the 2-hour mark. I want to thank everyone that has, tuned in, has, been here riding this cosmic wave with us. We went all over the cosmos. Like, we talked about so many things. Like, the topic was how to unlock your quantum reality. And Tej gave an amazing guided meditation that took us to different realms. Luckily, it is recorded, so it's accessible to anyone that wants to partake in that. And I highly advise it, if you made it this far, just to, come back and repave those neural pathways, because, neurons that fire together, or neurons that wire together, fire together, something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And what that means...
Maybe we could, we could talk about clipping that out and put it up separately. I don't know.
For sure,
Something to talk about.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. That's in the works, where we're constantly refining our processes and distilling our content, right? Because this is the live cosmic drip, and then we just, refine it, and then, we serve it up like pizza, right? So...
yeah, maybe we do it by the slice every now and then.
You know what I'm saying? There you go. So yeah, like, one thing that I just want to remind everybody, because at the end we're talking a lot about environment, and in nature, that's one thing that we see that's very very prevalent, right? Like, you can't grow, I always say this, like, you can't grow a mango tree in sand, like, it needs to be in the proper soil. Sand is kind of like soil, but it's not really, right? So it needs the right environment, and we are products of our environment. And that goes for everything, right? That goes for life. And one thing we should be conscious of is the operating system, right? Because, for example, if you have a computer and that's the environment, but the environment can't handle the weight of the program, right? The manifestation, then you need an upgrade, right? You need bigger and more powerful resources. Same with a car, right? Like if you go off-roading and that car is not all-wheel drive and you're in a terrain, well, hey, you're gonna get stuck, right? and you just have to be prepared. You have to be prepared for where you're going. And Tej said something that I love because I'm a software engineer, and what we do is we try to reverse engineer everything. We start at the end, and then we work our way back to the beginning, and then we work in baby steps, in chunks. You know, like the quote says, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? And that's how you quantum jump. That's how you shift your timeline. You do it one step at a time, one manifestation at a time, one day at a time, right? That's the same way you climb a mountain. That's the same way you do everything in life, right? You bring your awareness to the moment and you walk that path, right? So another thing I want to mention is that the key to shifting into your dream reality is feeling, right? And that means feeling all of it, sensitivity to it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because there is no difference. There's absolutely no difference, right? Everything is one, right? Everything is happening everywhere, all at one time, right? This is the quantum. It's only the now, right? And if you want more of that, listen to Eckhart Tolle, because he breaks down the now in just profound depths, right? Like the power of now is something that changed my life, really. And he talks about the emotional pain body as well, which is like that shadow work, right? The weight. And as we bring awareness, right, to it, we dispel the darkness, right? And then we could ascend or transcend, whichever way you want to go. So yeah, I think that another thing I want to mention is relationships, right? Like at this point in my life, I got to a point where I had to let go of being the lone wolf, the self-made, I did it by myself, and I had to surrender and say, you know, I need help. Sometimes you need help. If your manifestation is too big, like you need help. But when you are by yourself, right, you build a strength to do it collectively. And then when you do it collectively, you amplify the manifestation, right? Because your force is amplified and there's no distance between you, right? Like I met these amazing gentlemen on the Ethernet, as I like to call it, even though it's, you know, the World Wide Web, but it's the Ethernet, where we're in the spirit realm, right? We're in the ether. And we've been able to bond, not being physically around each other, which proves the quantum realm, right? Because like these are my brothers now, like, and it's amazing what could happen in a few months, right? When you're all locked into one collective vision, it just amplifies and multiplies, right? So I do wanna just bring awareness to that, and I'm gonna end it with this, like your intention and your attention, right? Where your energy flows, right? Where your attention goes, your energy flows, right? Because that's energy in motion. That's your emotions, right? And that's our awareness. That's what Tej was doing when he led us in that guided meditation. He guided us, right? And all he was doing was using his consciousness to allow us to find that pocket as well, right? As he's shown the light. And I could go down and I could continue further, but I think that sums up the gist of everything we were covering today. If you guys want to say any closing remarks, go ahead. Tej, if you could say a few words.
I feel like Chan's just got something chomping at the bit.
There you go, Chan. Go ahead. Floor is yours.
I have absolutely nothing, Tej. I think you should go ahead and... No, I have some things, but I'm not chopping on anything.
I'm rubbing the Buddha belly for all you guys, just
there
so you know. So all you guys here are getting this lucky Buddha belly rubbing. Yeah. And I think Aqua did a beautiful job summing it up, and I just want to say thank you. I'm grateful for the experience. I'm grateful for for the people that inspired us to create this time, this space, this small community that I know is going to grow. I'm grateful for these amazing boys here, and I just even with the meditation, like I'm glad that there's a way that I can help, because just putting out love, giving feels so good, and sometimes we need to remind ourselves or give ourselves permission to give and receive, and so seeing others do it helps remind us. And have fun, man. Have fun with all of this. Like, it's not meant for anything else. It's meant to have fun. Be creative. Like, use your mind, use your wits, make it a game. Like, it really is a beautiful time, place, and space we are alive in right now. And all of us asked to be here now. So just think about that. You wanted to be here right now because you knew it was going to be so awesome, and you knew you had something good to contribute, and you're here to just remember what that is. So thank you, and thank yourself. Thank yourself for being here, and remember to smile. Jeez.
Thank you, guys. Any final words, John?
Yeah. I just want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. You know, we talked about the influence of media, and we were just talking about this the other day. They literally call them TV programs.
Yes.
It's programming. So if you're tuning in to watch us, I hope that we have done some positive programming for your life. So thanks for checking out our program. Thanks for we had quite a good number, you know, for how early we are into doing this. We had a pretty good number that was in the chat or just live watching consistently, and a lot of people coming in and out. I just want to say thanks to everyone who came to check us out. Thank you to everybody who's going to check us out in the future. So I know we'll get more and more people checking it out, because I think we're doing something really positive here and spreading some good message, and it's very authentic. And so yeah, thanks guys. I appreciate both of you for your presence and your energy and your words, and just the flow of the divine consciousness as it conduits through you. And yeah, I just wanted to leave things off, you know. I wanted to just drop something. And I don't know. I just feel called to read this, if you don't mind. It's a quick letter. I used to have this hanging up in my bathroom. I'm all about hanging up signs for myself.
I love
But
it.
I read this in a interpretation of the Yoga Sutras. I forget. I've read so many, but it's for the 5th sutra. But basically, he's talking about what it means, and he's like, it's about thought forms. And I think this goes into when we're stepping into our dream reality and like creating the internal space that's necessary for it. So I really love this. It's a letter to your mind. It says, "Dear mind, all right, if you want to create thought forms, you want to create thoughts, go ahead. But if you create thought forms that bring pain, we're gonna suffer. If we're selfish, we're gonna suffer. And look, mind, I don't want to kill you. I'm your friend, and I'm interested in your welfare and peace. So please listen to me. Please do not create thought forms that will rebound on us. Let's forget our selfishness and make others happy so that we can be a happy person. Let's bring others peace so our peace will never be broken." And I signed it, Love, I.
That's beautiful.
That's amazing. I love it. That's an amazing way to end it. I don't know what else you could say after that. So,
Love and light.
Love and light.
Love and light.
That is the way, right? So, all right, guys.
See you all on Wednesday.
See you on Wednesday. Thank you for showing up. And Sat Nam, right? Wholeness and balance vibrations. And I'm wishing you a an amazing day, prosperous day. May all your manifestations come to reality swiftly and expeditiously. So much love. Much love, guys.
Love, peace, and avocado grease.
Hasta luego. All right, we're out of here.
Yeah.